We are a part of a fantastic solar system, and yet we are a unique part. Scientists say that we are the only planet to receive the life-giving substance called water. Actually, nearly 3/4 of our planet is covered with the substance. The water is drawn up from the sea, purified by nature's own process, and carried to certain land masses. In the United States, rain often falls on areas already rich with water sources. From here, it runs off as radiant rivulets, strident streams, and rampaging rivers. Like a revolution against the pangs of arid lands, the water wends its way, ever gathering momentum for its worthy cause. However, there are other places where the water is needed. Without water, all of man's dedication and desire can bring no fruitful harvest. To get water, then, man must go to where it is. The high mountains of Wyoming and Colorado have an abundance of water, far in excess of area demands. Nature brings it to this land, stores it for the needs of those nearly 1,000 miles distant. The journey is as deliberate as the best of nature's planning. It seems destined to return to its home in the sea. After a 700-mile journey from the snow-covered mountains, the water becomes a part of the wealth known as the Colorado River. Without man's ingenuity, all this water would be lost. At this point, the water has traveled across the entire state of Utah and a portion of Arizona. This is Black Canyon, barren and abused looking. But man has changed that. The harnessed waters have created a paradise called Lake Mead. Here lies 1,300 million cubic feet of precious water, or nearly 10 cubic miles of salvation for a thirsty Southland. The formation of this vast man-made lake was the first step in harvesting energy and conserving the precious water supply. The 550-mile perimeter of the lake provides a recreational haven for resident and visitor alike. But more important, this is a control point for power and water needs of the citizens of Arizona, California, and parts of Mexico. Here is the beginning of the water management that ensures not a drop is misplaced or wasted. This water management is a series of dams and backup reservoirs. The water from Lake Mead created by Hoover Dam, flows into Lake Mojave. This lake was also created by a dam, Davis Dam. It is upon the release of the water from this dam that it first reaches the state of California. After forming a water boundary line, it is again broadened out into a lake. Lake Havasu is the third lake of the supply chain. Like the others, it is man-made and created by a dam which controls the flow of valuable water. To the people of the Southland, Parker Dam is part of a vital engineering miracle, for this is the start of the Colorado River Aqueduct. At this point, the river water must be diverted to users 300 miles away. The first pumping station pushes 170,000 tons of water to the mountain summit every hour. There are 5 pumping stations, 9 reservoirs, and 240 miles of tunnels, canals, and pipelines in the $500 million Colorado River Aqueduct. This water is destined for the 6 most populous counties of Southern California. To the citizens of the city of San Diego, this is indeed the Bountiful Flow. Although San Diego is indeed rich in many sources of pleasure and necessity, the collection of water and its distribution are a prime consideration of the city. The annual rainfall is sparse, averaging only 10 inches each year, certainly not enough for the 375 square mile city to gain an adequate supply. But San Diego has impounding reservoirs, 7 of them, located strategically in the San Diego Mountains. Here at San Vicente Reservoir, the precious rain runoff and Colorado River water are retained for use. This single reservoir holds 90,000 acre-feet of water, enough to supply the city users for a full 9 months. In the other reservoirs, an additional 350,000 acre-feet of holding capacity is available. A unique feature of this San Diego water supply system is the citizen recreational participation in such locations as Murray Reservoir. Here the water provides a double use and a very personal reward for those who partake of the leisure hour sports. The city of San Diego believes its citizens should enjoy all of the benefits of their surroundings. Two reservoirs are stocked regularly with rainbow trout. More than 200,000 fish are released every year. Even though this sport is brought within view of home sites, the water still has a long way to go to serve the citizens in their homes. Before the water can be delivered, all of the natural impurities must be removed. The Utilities Department of the City of San Diego operates 3 high-standard filtration plants. This one, the Alvarado plant, treats up to 66 million gallons of water a day. In addition to being the largest of the plants, Alvarado is also the quality control headquarters for the Utilities Department. The newest of the plants went into operation in 1962. This Miramar plant filters the supply for the 200,000 residents of the northern part of the city. Already the capacity of this plant is 40 million gallons a day. The filtration process is identical to other city plants. The water is treated by purifying compounds supplied by modern automatic conveyors. The amount of incoming water is carefully measured. The quality of water produced remains constant and up to the high standards of the Utilities Department. The men who control these vital facilities are all qualified plant operators with a thorough knowledge of all aspects of water purification. The mixing must be slow and thorough. It takes about 45 minutes for this stage of the process. After completion here, the water is switched to the quiet settling areas, where it stays for another 2 hours. One of the most remarkable features of the new $4 million treatment plant is that only a few men are needed to run it at top efficiency. Yet there is no sacrifice of personal or scientific attention. Throughout the treatment operation, quality control specialists sample the water to check each purification step. The mixing and settling have done their job at this point. Yet there is more to the process. The water is next filtered through 4 feet of sand and rock. It takes the water about 10 minutes to percolate through this system. After each cycle, the filter bed is backwashed in preparation for its next use. Making water pure is just part of the job of the Utilities Department of the City of San Diego. It must be able to deliver the water to more than 230,000 homes, factories, and stores. And delivery must be made regardless of emergency demand and peak hour use in the morning and evening. To ensure that enough water will be available for all users, whatever the time of their need, vast amounts are stored in special covered reservoirs in all distribution zones. This concrete-covered reservoir holds 35 million gallons and stands ready to supplement the hourly capacity of the filtration plant. Throughout the sprawling city, there are other storage tanks with a ready supply of water for the neighborhood. This type of storage tank is called a standpipe. Some of them hold as much as 2 million gallons of water. There are also elevated tanks to serve other areas. These, visible for many blocks, are often the only direct reminder the citizens have of their water delivery system. There is so much that goes unnoticed. There is a maze of unseen underground pipes and valves in San Diego. A gridwork of distribution water mains totals nearly 1,500 miles in length. Here, several feet below the surface, the giant trunk mains crisscross our city. Some are more than 5 feet in diameter. The larger mains can handle up to 70,000 gallons per minute, or 100 million gallons a day. The underground gridwork must also reach every neighborhood with enough pressure to properly serve its needs. Sections of the pipe grid must be able to be bypassed too, so any required repair work can be accomplished with a minimum interruption of service. The purity of water delivered to all areas of the distribution network is also checked. To 40 such spot checks are conducted each week. There are other considerations for the water supply and distribution too. And an emergency supply under full pressure is one of the most important. There are 10,000 fire hydrants within the city of San Diego, and the water system is designed to provide each with the necessary flow and pressure. In an emergency, there must be no loss of pressure and no interruption of neighborhood service. A pressure failure here could create a serious threat. Adequate water pressure is standard in San Diego's system, whatever the time, wherever the location. With its many canyons and dry vegetation, San Diego could become a fire problem area if it were not for an adequate water supply and the unquestioned efficiency of its well-trained fire department. When service is needed, when water is essential, it will be wherever the people are. The same at time of need service is also extended to the 20,000 newcomers who migrate to California's most ideal location every year. This water system is designed to meet the needs of a growing city that doubled its population in 15 years. The department plans for needs 25 years in the future. The fact that San Diego is now the 15th largest city in the United States comes as no surprise to the men of the department. When new developments grow within the vast city limits, new lines are added. And if the elevation of the new neighborhood demands it, new pumping stations are provided. The city of San Diego guarantees that everyone within its service area has the same opportunity for an adequate water supply. And all necessary pressure. And even more important, a fair rate for a necessary service. There are others who have more specific demands for water. Business and industry have a great many uses for water, in addition to the beautification of their buildings and grounds. Industries expanding within the city must have increasing amounts of water for boilers, processing, and countless other uses. New industries, too, must have an adequate water supply, and one that is of acceptable quality. The city of San Diego guarantees that quality. The number of new users grows daily with the industrial growth of the city. Research facilities also require their supplies for the betterment of the community. After all, this is a land of great scientific advancement and expansion. Many of the industrial users are increasing their demands as production goals are met. The city is proud to meet these demands and provide for new plants. The supply is available, and yet the men of the Utilities Department cannot fail to look to and consider quality. Control checks are made every hour at the filtration plants. And in the field by public health inspectors. In addition to field checks of both water mains and reservoirs, there are continuing laboratory tests to ensure absolute purity. The department is also concerned with any means possible of developing new sources of water. Because the costs of imported water have been rising steadily over the years, there have been investigations for the secondary use of water. The new wastewater treatment plant and ocean outfall, built at a cost of $14 million, is designed for the needs of the city through the year 2000. And is currently disposing of nearly 70 million gallons of wastewater daily. If even a small part of this wastewater could be successfully and economically treated, it could simplify the water procurement problems of the future. One of the most advanced research projects in the history of water science concerns the treatment of such wastewater. This is a joint venture of the City Utilities Department and several scientific organizations. It is called reverse osmosis and holds much promise. The partially treated wastewater is the source material. Although it does contain impurities, it could pass for cloudy water. Although this is just a series of test experiments that could be related to small supply requirements, the results are most gratifying. The secret of the process is an ingenious complex of membranes and spacers which act as pressure filters, removing almost all impurities. Since no chemicals are added, only the cost and capabilities of a pumping system and membrane structure need be considered. Although much remains to be done, the tests so far indicate reverse osmosis has almost unlimited applications. Equally bright are the prospects for the new South Bay Area Flash Distillation Plant being built by the United States government's Office of Saline Water. Located on San Diego Gas and Electric Company land, the new plant is expected to produce many technological improvements. Using steam and electrical energy from the power plant, pure water will be produced from ocean water. Clear across town, nearly 30 miles to the north, another process is being utilized. Here, wastewater purification is currently used to provide for irrigation and recreation. Each day, the use of water increases in our city. And along with this expansion, there is the desire to improve the way of life of the growing number of citizens. It is not often in this part of the country that the citizens receive any freshwater recreational pleasures, but in San Diego, it remains a reality. Special recreational areas have been developed for the enjoyment of the youngest of citizens. At the same time, the pleasures of the older citizens are not overlooked. The department cannot take credit for all the advantages of the San Diego water system. There is an accepted beginning to the bountiful flow. But with the available supply, there comes all of the necessary steps of filtration, the mixing, the settling, and the testing. There is the constant checking for purity and pressure. There is the installation of service, regardless of how great or how personal the need. This has always been an area of water appreciation and water use. It could be considered a part of the life in San Diego. Certainly, water and warm sun go together for the health and betterment of the citizens. Water serves and it refreshes. It entertains those of all ages, just as it serves those of all ages. But it also serves those of all occupations. The quest for water is never-ending. There is an endless stream of new users and an endless migration to this elected land. This is a new homeland where the warm sun beckons. In spite of rainless skies, water is available. Some water used in San Diego has been pumped more than 300 miles. All has undergone 7 individual operational steps to make it clear and pure. These high standards will never change, and the service will never falter. To those of the department, water is a very personal thing for health and welfare. They take their responsibility very seriously and do not question for a minute that they owe this to the users. They are keeping a promise for the city of San Diego and its utilities department for good water in abundance for every citizen.